What's going on, everybody at home? If your team is on the Cancun couch, we're welcoming you guys into the Gauntlet podcast live from the Cancun couch because the Philadelphia Eagles are on there now. So I've just been enjoying it as much as I can. But the Titans and the Bengals are in a close one right now, so we're definitely
Shootout.
keeping you guys out on that. Also,
Yeah.
Tyler and his Green Bay Packers are taking on the 49ers later tonight. So that's also going to be an interesting matchup. We're going to cover all that. We're going to cover all the games that happened last week, share our thoughts on that. We're going to go over our divisional round picks, sports morons of the week, all the NFL news and stuff that's currently going on right now with the NFL. But how are you guys all doing, man? How's the week been for you guys?
Man, I am so glad it's the weekend. Work was a little annoying this week, but hey, we're enjoying the NFL playoffs on the weekend, so can't complain.
I'm riding
We
high
all know
from
that, man. We all
my
know
perfect
that.
slate of picks from last week. Although, granted,
Slate of picks. I think I got all my picks wrong. So I'm trying to.
I got all mine right. I killed it last week, but
it was 5 favorites and the Cowboys losing, so anyone could have predicted that.
Yeah,
You could have went with the Vegas line and done just as good as me or Tyler.
pretty much.
So obviously, guys, biggest headlines of the week, mainly with coaching searches. There's a lot of rumors and stuff going around as far as guys that are getting interviewed and positioning themselves to become a head coach in the National Football League. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing that I really want to say. When you're looking at teams that are doing interviews, when you're looking at the Houston Texans in particular, they interviewed Josh McCown as a head coaching candidate, and they also interviewed Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon, who he's interviewed with 3 teams. He's interviewed with Minnesota, he's interviewed with Houston, as well as, I believe, the Denver Broncos. So very unqualified candidates there. So that leads me to my next point. You guys get rid of David Culley, claiming that he was a stopgap coach because you guys are going to get a real coach this year. If you guys are interviewing these candidates who aren't qualified and you end up hiring someone like a Jonathan Gannon to replace David Culley, with all due respect, like the Houston Texans are dumpster fire.
They are. This is not news. We've been there for the last 2 years.
Wait,
the only difference is the flame inside the actual dumpster got bigger. Outside of that, that's exactly what they are. And the fact that, and I get it, Brian Flores is on the hot, not on the hot seat. He's the hot number 1 pick right now. I'm sure he's shopping around, and that's cool. But I mean, Josh McCown, like, really, like, no,
yeah,
that's
a terrible idea.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because y'all need some direction.
That does not make any sense.
What ethnicity is Jonathan Gannon?
He's white.
White? Okay, I was going to say maybe it was their.
Here, I'll show you a picture of him.
I thought maybe it was their Rooney Rule requirement, but then I was going to say don't waste that interview.
You know what?
When you can just interview Flores.
I'll go as far as saying this. When they got David Culley, this is at the time period when they had told Deshaun Watson, like, hey, we want to keep you and everything, and we'll give you a say in, like, the head coaching search and whatnot. Well, he had his list of, like, picks, and they didn't interview any of those candidates. And then all this other stuff popped up, and then as soon as Deshaun Watson said, well, hey, I want out of Houston, all of a sudden, Culley gets hired. You did not hear word of anything. It was just like, boom, Culley gets hired. It was almost like it was the Texans front office way of saying, hey, you wanted a black coach? See, here we go. We got one.
This is Jonathan Gannon. This is the guy that the Texans are considering. Reportedly, the reports say Jonathan Gannon blew the Texans away, and he is now the leading candidate in the race. He's the favorite to get hired.
That's your team, Jim. Would you rather see him stay?
Absolutely not. I would love it if he went to Houston because it would mean we're getting an actual defensive coordinator. So when you look at the Eagles' defense this year, we were top 10 in yards allowed. We were 11th against the pass. So we had a pretty good defense in terms of stats. But there was a few games this year where we played the Raiders and some of these other teams Derek Carr completed 91% of his passes. We have multiple games where quarterbacks completed over 80%. It was the most in the National Football League. So
happened to the Lions
this
a lot
guy,
too.
His defense is very passive. It's passive. It's not
Ben
designed
don't break. Ben don't break.
Get to the quarterback.
That's
He's
terrible.
very conservative, so that's why teams are able to pick his defense apart constantly. So yeah, I mean, I think that with all these other coaching, there hasn't been anybody hired yet. But in other news, let's get away from the coaching search for a while. But the Dallas Cowboys.
One thing. Hang on. Riddle me this. Worst crop of people as far as this offseason, head coaches or quarterbacks in the draft?
Quarterbacks in the draft. And it's not close. Because I still think, I still think there's Doug Peterson, there's Brian Flores. I think I've went to bat for Nathaniel Hackett. I still think he'd be a good head coach for somebody. So I think there's some options out there.
Right. Brian Flores has and I know we're talking about quarterbacks versus coaches, but Brian Flores actually has the ability to turn a team around. Whereas in the quarterbacks coming out this year,
look what he did with Tua.
Yeah. I mean, they finished 9-8. They had a 10-win season like the year before. That's why the firing was so baffling, And in which I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but it said that the reason why he was fired is because the owner wants to go after Jim Harbaugh. But as far as the quarterbacks coming out of the draft, who's the best one coming out? Really, Pickett?
Yeah,
Corral?
Yeah, I don't love any of them. I don't like any of them, to be honest.
Who's the least terrible? Because none of them are good.
The only great or good potential decision that the Texans have made thus far is they announced that they were potentially going defense in the first round, which I agree, because what quarterback you gonna pick? Who's gonna blow you? Who's got the ability to turn around a franchise? I think that we're safe for sticking with Mills.
What pick do y'all have, Jay?
We're fifth, if I'm not mistaken, fifth or fourth.
Well, they're not going to use that. They're not going to use that in the quarterback, Dom.
No, I'm just saying because he said going defense. It's dicey.
They probably take that pass rusher from Oregon. That's what I think.
He'll be gone.
The Texans keep the third overall pick. They're probably going to be looking for their next J.J. Watt. That's what they're saying.
I'm thinking it's going to be the dude from Oregon or Hutchinson.
Hopefully you don't reach for Karlaftis, because I think by pick 5, Hutchinson and Thibodeau will both be gone.
They will.
Hopefully not either of them by the Lions.
Have said that they are very open to moving the third overall pick to a team that wants to trade up for someone like Hutchinson or Thibodeau or someone like that, just so they can stock up and get, possibly future first-round picks to rebuild their franchise. But anyway, guys, enough with the coaching talk and all this other stuff. There's one thing I want to bring up, and this is probably going to be revisited at the Sports Moron of the Week segment, but Dak Prescott was fined $25,000 for his comments that he made after the game, where obviously we saw the way Dallas lost, the referee. There's this whole debate about, should the referee have gotten out of the way? First of all, the referee was doing his job. Anybody that's played sports before, you guys know that in football, when you're in that situation, you don't hand the ball to your teammate. Dak Prescott handed the ball to his teammate. He should have gave it to the referee. The referee's job, the lineman's job, is to always spot the ball where it's supposed to be. So Dak, they asked Dak some question about the fans that were throwing stuff on the field. Oh, we're professional athletes. We work hard for this team, blah, blah, blah. That's what he said, trying to defend himself and his teammates after the loss. And then when they brought up, they were doing it because of the refs. And he said, good for them. I'm happy that they did that. Well, first of all, it shouldn't matter. Even if the refs did screw this up, sure, we all get upset with the referees. We all get upset about it. It happens in sports. But for you to do that and stand on the press conference and say those things that you said, that was very, very unprofessional and disrespectful by Dak Prescott. And that's why I wasn't feeling sorry for him at all, that it was fined $25,000. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Congratulations. You won a prize of minus $25,000 in your bank account.
And that's a big black mark on on Dak's record, because what have I always said about Dak? Intangibles, being responsible and mature and a grown-up and, being good with the media. And then you go and say something like that, like, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. It's not like he's some sort of outstanding athlete that's great in the clutch. Like, the only things I've ever really complimented him for, because they're the only things that stand out, are the intangibles. And then he goes and says something like that.
Yeah, I most definitely thought that he acted like a and you know what? Let me tell that fan base something, okay? Hold on, let me prop my back up. Okay, this is what happens when you gas that team and fan base up so much. Oh, it's our year. We're going to the bowl. I get confidence. I get all of that, okay? But this is what happens this is the reaction you get when you get gassed up so hard and you lose at home to a squad you theoretically could have beaten. Let me tell you something. The Dallas Cowboys, and even if, to your point, Jim, even if the referee screwed it up on that final play, nobody told them to get penalized 14 damn times. Nobody told them to lose at home in a playoff game to a team that got in the playoffs on the last day of the season. Nobody told them to get torched by the Niners running game. Nobody told Mike McCarthy to call a quarterback draw with 10 seconds left. So, as far as Dak Prescott goes, yeah, I agree. That's a black mark. You're supposed to be a leader, bro. You're supposed to be better than that. You're supposed to get up on that podium and say, I'm the team captain. It's on me. We didn't get enough to get it done. Going and blaming the referees, that's a lame sucker move, period. I like that, but I can't mess with him on this one. Go ahead, Ty.
Go ahead.
I don't got none.
You don't have anything? Okay.
Look at it this way. Put it in perspective as far as Dallas goes. It's been 31 years since the Lions last made it to the NFC title game. Dallas, 26.
And counting. So, with that being said, we're actually going to add our first guest to the show, Jordan Pennington. And we're going to see if Jordan has any thoughts on
what's up, Jordan?
The whole situation with Dak Prescott and getting fined for the $25,000 and like all his comments and stuff. So when you saw what Dak said, Jordan, what was your first reaction?
It's just something you don't say. You're the face of the franchise.
Thank you.
Right.
Take your accountability and keep it pushing.
And that is not what Dak was doing whatsoever. But anyway, guys, I think that brings us to a good point to where we can actually talk about some of these wild card games. I think that I'm going to go ahead and start with the Eagles because just to get it out of the way. Yes, I was wrong, and I had a lot more confidence than maybe I should have had. But you know what? I can't really be that upset with the result against the defending Super Bowl champs. Jalen Hurts and what he was able to do this season with a young squad. It was great to watch, and we were 2-5 at one point, so we could have just mailed it in. And, Nick Sirianni loses the locker room, and, we could just be a clown show team. But instead, we decided to, put up a fight and, have a pretty good year. And the Eagles are ahead of schedule. They made the playoffs in a year no one thought they would. You have 3 future first-round picks. You got some cap space to spend on free agents to make the team better. So the Eagles are just going to continue to climb and get a lot better. And I think they will be challenging the Dallas Cowboys for the division title.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts has most definitely turned, and I might be alone on this, but I'll give credit to Nick Sirianni too, because Nick Sirianni was handed a franchise that essentially was starting over, and to get them to the playoffs on year 2 when they were supposed to be several years away, that puts the Eagles ahead of schedule. They led the league in rushing. Miles Sanders, and you know what? Had he not missed a game or two, who knows how many more they could have racked up. I think that the Eagles are in great shape. I see the Giants doing Giants things, and that moves more toward the minus than the plus. Washington is always a hit or miss. I expect them to miss next season. But hey, nice new logo. It's going to be either Dallas or Philly next year.
Yep, 100%. Tyler, you got any thoughts
on the Eagles or on wild card?
The whole game between the Bucs and the Eagles and everything like that.
Yeah, I expected Jalen Hurts to play a little bit better in that game, so I'm gonna say it's growing pains for Jalen Hurts. He's gonna get better. He's gonna get through this, but he didn't play good, obviously, in that game. I love what the Eagles are doing. I think they have such a good rushing attack. Nick Sirianni got back to rushing the ball about halfway through the season, made adjustments. So next year, going into the season, he's going to be running the ball, week 1, which is going to bode well for the Eagles.
He better be.
Better.
Yeah, well, if
I'm
you
don't,
don't,
I'm gonna give you a stick when you're done.
If he don't, then they're in trouble. But the Eagles would be in a better position. I still think Tampa got hurt in that game. Tristan Wirfs went down. Jensen went down. Ryan Jensen. Some players that people need to monitor for that game tomorrow against the Rams, against that defensive line with Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and them boys. But we'll discuss that later. But overall, I think the Eagles are still in good position. They got 3 draft picks, and they're sitting pretty in the offseason right now.
Dom, you got something, man?
Yes. I'm going to give you two numbers when it comes to the Eagles. The first one is 5.5. The second one is 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. Miles Sanders averaged 5.5 yards per carry.
Yep.
He only got double-digit carries 6 times. That's all I have to say.
Feed Miles. Feed Miles.
The 3 games where he had his most carries, 4 games. Week 1, 15 for 74. Week 11, 16 for 94. Week 13, 24 for 110.
Yep.
Week 15, 18 for 131. Give that man the ball.
So he only hold on. So
well, I
only
agree that he needs to get
once?
the ball more. But the thing is, the Eagles are not just the Eagles ran for the franchise record, like over 2,000 plus yards this season.
Right, but a run game is a young quarterback's best friend.
We're not the Indianapolis Colts, where we saw where Jonathan Taylor gets neutralized, the run game's done. We have Miles Sanders. We have Jalen Hurts, who's a great runner as well. We have Jordan Howard. We have Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell. We have a lot of backs in their stable. So that's why it doesn't really impact us if Miles Sanders doesn't get the ball that much. But if he did start getting it, then I think that running game would be significantly better than it is.
Like I don't think he's a workhorse back. I don't think you could give him the ball 280 times a year. But at 5.5 per carry, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Hurts had everything he needed to be successful. Like your O-line's pretty good. You've got a good running back, a good tight end, a great young wideout. I'm impressed with Jalen Hurts. I was never down on him, but your team ended up being a lot better than I thought. I was wrong about you.
Way better than you thought. You said we would only win 5 games, but we're not going to have that conversation. What team really surprised you guys the most or impressed you guys the most in Wild Card Weekend?
Buffalo. Buffalo really impressed me. Yeah, last week, Buffalo, what they did to New England. I expect them. I think they're going to beat Kansas City tomorrow. It's just me. Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about it. I just think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl this year. I think where they're heading right now, and based off of these 2 teams playing right now and what I know, the Bills, defense is starting to pick up and being the number 1 scoring defense in the league. Yeah, I thought Buffalo was really impressive last week.
I'm going with Cincinnati.
Oh, go ahead.
They did the same thing that Philly did. They started running the ball. Singletary is another one like Miles Sanders. Give him the ball. He will get you 4.5 yards.
Yeah, which helps, a whole lot. And I agree with Tyler. Speaking of which, guys, as we speak, Burrow has just been dropped for a 9th time. Bengals offensive line is BOOTEE booty.
Yeah.
With that being said,
they should have taken Sewell. They should have taken Sewell or Rashawn Slater.
With that being said, I believe that tomorrow's Bills Chiefs is the unofficial AFC Championship game.
I agree.
The winner of that game is going to win the AFC.
I agree.
So let's say the Bills do win tomorrow. Does that in any of y'all's mind, because I keep getting crucified for this, but does that narrow the gap between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
I think we're good.
Or does Josh Allen have to get a ring?
If he gets a ring is when I'll start.
Is that that's when I'll start. Yeah.
I think Josh has to beat Patrick.
Oh, 100%.
I think he has to beat. I think
you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
He has to beat him, but he also has to finish the job. He has to win a ring. If he's going to be mentioned in the same breath as Pat Mahomes, he must finish the job this season.
But
he can't just beat him.
I don't think that Josh Allen could beat Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. He could beat Stafford. I think he could. He could beat Brady.
Yeah.
So honestly, for me, guys, the team that impressed me the most is the Los Angeles Rams. And this is a team that I wasn't really high on because of Matthew Stafford being able to perform at this level. But the Rams defense is doing exactly what we saw from Tampa Bay's defense last season, which is really, really heating up in the playoffs. So as we're going into our divisional picks, I'll start with the Rams and the Buccaneers game first, because I think that there's a huge matchup that the Rams can completely expose in this game. And this is why I'm picking the Rams to win. So we saw Kyler Murray, who's a very mobile quarterback. He was running for his life. You know, Kyler Murray was looking terrible in this game. And it was because he was constantly under duress. So when you look at Tampa in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles, we saw many of their offensive line, or two of their offensive linemen, which their offensive line has stayed healthy all season.
Philly was getting to the quarterback.
Great offensive line, but I'm telling you, you line up a second string guy that doesn't have that much experience and tell him, go block Aaron Donald. Let me know how that works out, because it's
Why did people want to sleep on the Rams defense?
The Rams have a lot of great guys on the defense. They got guys like Floyd. They got guys. They picked up Von Miller. They got Aaron Donald. Like, it's going to be a problem for Tom Brady. The way you beat Tom Brady is you got to hit him. You got to hit him. You got to make him feel that. And I think the Rams secondary is pretty good too. And that's going to be the reason why the Rams win this game.
Hey, Dom, I think to answer your question, the reason why they were kind of sleeping on the defense is because the Rams as a whole has lost about one or two bad games this year. Remember when Derrick Henry had just went out and Tennessee beat them on the road? Mm-hmm. But, you could say, they went on to be, the number one seed and everything. But the Rams, they really should have won that ball game, bro.
That's probably the best running back in the league. Like, he's going to do that against good teams.
But see, it's unfair though, man. It really is unfair because, man, everyone's had bad games. Tennessee lost to my Texans.
Right. It's the NFL.
Everyone's had bad games. Like, this was just that unpredictable year. Like, it is what it is.
The Lions beat Arizona.
The Lions beat Arizona. The Lions beat Minnesota.
Dominated Arizona.
Yes, are you guys making picks?
The Steelers beat Buffalo.
Are you picking?
So who you guys got, Rams or Bucs?
I'm taking Bucs.
Bucs.
Okay.
Rams.
Yeah, I got the Rams too, and I think
you're welcome in advance, Tyler.
Yeah, whatever. I got the Rams too, though. I actually think the monster game tomorrow is going to be from Leonard Floyd, because they're going to try and play plug-in players to try and neutralize Aaron Donald. Granted, Aaron Donald's going to get his, but I think Leonard Floyd has a monster game for the Rams, and the Rams win tomorrow.
Well, Miller might as well.
He could, yeah.
It's about that. It's still the same thing we've been saying for our whole lives. Run the ball, play good defense. I didn't realize till now. I'm looking at the game log from last week. Stafford only threw the ball 17 times. 13-17 for 202, 2 TDs, no picks. But you got 58 from Sony Michel, 55 from Cam Akers. And I said Cam Akers was the X factor.
Yeah, I just think I think the Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen injuries are those are big blows for Tampa. And I know
are both of them out tomorrow? Are they both out tomorrow?
Even if they do play,
I think one is out and one is out and one's like doubtful.
Yeah, one's doubtful.
That's tough.
It's tough,
Yeah, so it's a huge mismatch. But anyway, guys, next game, Chiefs Bills. I'll go first. So honestly, like I kind of saw this coming. I think it's going to be a great game. But I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game. Just at this stage, I think the Chiefs are going to be more prepared. I think Patrick Mahomes is in his bag when it comes to being in the playoffs. Obviously, Josh Allen has been here last year in the AFC Championship. So they're going to be like the Bills are going to come ready. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like in the end, like Patrick Mahomes is just going to make that one play that the Chiefs are going to need to win this game. And the Chiefs are going to go back to the AFC Championship and most likely back to the Super Bowl after that.
Yeah, I got Buffalo. I think the Buffalo's defense and their scoring defense and what it's doing right now, I think Patrick Mahomes might make a mistake or two tomorrow and force a couple picks like he was early in the season. And just the momentum that Buffalo has right now and wanting to get over that hump and wanting to beat Kansas City, I don't know. I just feel it. I'm picking the Bills to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills here myself. I think that last week, whether you're scared of them or not, they have put the AFC on notice because they didn't just beat New England. They beat the vaunted New England. Granted, it's minus Tom Brady, but it's still a Bill Belichick coach team. That's still a Bill Belichick coach defense, and they ran roughshod on them. The Bills are pissed off. I've got Bills 30-24.
Beat them like they stole something. That's the only time in playoff history. 7 for 7. 7 drives, 7 touchdowns.
Until you kneel down.
I have the Bills as well. Their defense is better.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is just as good in my mind as Patrick Mahomes, and I think he's ready to take that step forward. And I also think that Singletary and Zach Moss and Matt Breida are better than Edwards-Helaire and the rest of Kansas City's running backs.
Yeah.
I'm also going Buffalo. I'm fully behind that defense.
Chiefs.
Fully behind that defense. I think they slow Mahomes and company down.
All right. I'm the only one that's picking the Chiefs, but that's all right. Next game, 49ers.
That's not a bad one to be on an island for. That's not a bad one.
At all.
The only one that picked the favorite.
Yeah.
They're a
The
1.5
underdog
point favorites. Still favorites point nonetheless.
Underdog squad over here.
In this game, the Green Bay Packers are going to have to figure out what they're going to do about Deebo Samuel. Because Deebo is going to come prepared. He's going to come saying, hey, you know what, Green Bay? This is my bike now. So the Packers defense is going to have to adjust to that and say, hey, what are we going to do to slow Deebo down? Because when Kyle Shanahan is drawing up these plays, he's just trying to figure out new ways to get Deebo the ball so he can do serious damage. Deebo is a unicorn. He did a lot of damage against the Cowboys. So he's really the X factor for the 49ers. I think that Green Bay is going to have to make someone else beat them. And if they do that, they're definitely going to win this game. I've definitely got Green Bay winning pretty comfortably. I got the Green Bay Packers winning this game by at least 10 points or more.
Wow, really?
I think, just Aaron Rodgers at this stage. Jimmy G is not competing with him. There's no way. There's no how. Like last week against the Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Garoppolo did exactly what I said he was going to do. At the point of the game, when the game was in the balance, he made the mistake, and he got the Cowboys back in the game. The only problem is Dak Prescott is a choke artist, and he blew it. So you ain't playing Dak Prescott this week, bro. You're playing Aaron Rodgers, the likely two-time reigning MVP, back-to-back MVP.
He's a little bit better than Dak, just a little bit.
So I got the Packers by at least 10.
Going in this game, I think I said it last week, and if I haven't, then here it goes again. In my mind, Deebo Samuel is what P. Harv was supposed to be. The switch out, running back, wide receiver, small guy, shifty, running. The only thing that he doesn't do is return punts and kicks. But Debo is that guy. But with that being said, I think that the 49ers have the defense to kind of give the Packers fits a little bit, just enough to give the general fan, the jitters. But ultimately, it's going to be Green Bay. I think that they're the much better team. Jimmy Garoppolo is now 3-6 when he throws, or the 49ers are now 3-6 when Jimmy G throws an interception. But if he throws a pick tonight, it's not going down. Even if he doesn't throw a pick, it's not going down. I've got Aaron Rodgers. He's the reigning MVP. I think he wins another one this year. And I think it's going to be Packers 35-21.
35-21. T.I.
Bengals.
Yeah, wow. I'm surprised that you guys have it so lopsided. Obviously, that would be amazing. I don't care as long as we get the W. I think the Packers are going to win tonight. I'm a little worried about, Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, Green Bay has they give up the third most rushing yards in the National Football League. So it is concerning anytime you're going against a team with a rushing attack. However, I think Jimmy G is going to end up having to make a throw at some points. He's going to have to make crucial throws at 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 7s. He's going to get put in those situations. And I know damn well that Jimmy G ain't going to be able to make that play in Lambeau Field. So I got the Packers winning tonight. I'm stoked almost everyone's back. David Bakhtiari's questionable, so he probably won't play tonight. However, Zadarius Smith is back. Jair Alexander's back. Whitney Merciless is back. Billy Turner is back. So, so everyone who has watched the Packers all season, they haven't seen the Packers like this. We're playing at full health tonight in Lambeau, and we've been undefeated all season there. So we'll see, but go Pack, go.
So real quick, this just in, McPherson has won it for the Cincinnati Bengals. And they are going to the AFC Championship.
I love this
Bengals
team.
by 3. I called it.
You called it, Jordo. Jordo did call it.
The Bengals win.
I picked Bengals. Real quick before anybody else goes, Joe Burrow just became the second quarterback in NFL postseason history to get sacked 8+ times and still win the game. The last quarterback, your favorite, Jimmy, Donovan McNabb, 2003.
Just real quick, is it too early to say Joe Burrow is already better than Boomer Esiason?
It's not too early. Boomer wasn't even that good.
I don't think it's too early. I think Joe's the best they've ever had.
Somebody, one of us or somebody in the chat picked Cincy in the AFC title game. Did they not?
It was Boomer himself. He was the only one.
No. I'm talking about one of us.
He's talking about Hockey had them going to the AFC Championship.
Right.
I picked Cincy last week. Yep.
All right, I've got Green Bay in a close one. A lot of the things between the two teams, there's similarities. They kind of cancel each other out. They both have good defenses, both have good run games. But the disparity, obviously, between Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo is a lot. But I don't think the game will necessarily come down to either one of them. I mean, it could, but if it does, clearly you're picking Rodgers. But they should both be trying to run the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, and real quick, I do want to give a shout out to the 49ers. I thought this team was going to be good all year. In the beginning of the year, I was really high on what the 49ers are doing. Obviously, I'm going to pick my team, but, Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, Jay alluded to Deebo being able to do everything. These Swiss Army kind of players, kind of similar to Cordell Patterson with the Atlanta Falcons. One of those guys that you throw, you can literally throw them anywhere. So credit to the 49ers. They had a great season. They've been hot. They've won 9 out of 12 games by the end of the night.
Yeah, I just want to throw this out there. Y'all keep mentioning Deebo, and he is that guy, but not one of y'all mentioned George Kittle.
Yeah, true.
I got the Packers winning by 2 scores, but I think George Kittle going to be a force tonight.
I think Elijah Mitchell is probably going to get his tonight for the 49ers, but I got the Packers winning. I'm not even going to give a score. We're just going to win the game, and we're going to go on to the NFC Championship.
Scores are
and
hard.
then, man, that's when Tyler's going to be at his crankiest. NFC title game.
Next week, next week show. Because honestly, either of those teams, like someone's like, oh, well, you guys will beat them or you'll beat them. And I'm like, listen, man, we could be playing the fucking the Falcons in the NFC Championship, and I'm worried because it's the NFC Championship. Title.
You could be playing the number 7 seed that snuck in and and lucked their way into the title game. You should still be nervous.
Yeah, funny little fact though is no 7 seed has ever won a wild card game yet. Just so you guys know.
Oh yeah, maybe next season. So now that we've kind of all made our picks for the wild card, or not the wild card, the divisional, that brings us to kind of like the halfway point of our show. So I actually want to give a shout out to the Score No Score app. It's an app where you can download it and predict the score while the game is still going on. So they do it for baseball and football. So during the NFL playoffs, you guys are welcome to download it and compete it against all your friends. And, you guys can have the bragging rights and show them, who really knows ball. So, it doesn't get much more fun than that. And shout out to Sideline Sports Network, of course, for working with us as well. So, everyone's favorite segment. Can I get a drum roll, please?
There you go, Jay.
Here we go.
Dum, 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 dum.
All right,
Sports Moron of the Week. Man, we got some stuff to talk about today, man. Oh, so where should we begin? Dallas.
Yes.
Dallas. This is a team that has the most obnoxious fans in the world. And, I have a lot of good friends that are Cowboys fans. So, no
shout out Mafia, shout out Megan Price.
But every year it's like, this is a team.
Yeah, Mark Bell. He's a Rams fan.
You guys lost to a team that you probably should have beat. You're at home, your favorites and everything like that. Yet you still lost. And the way, it's not even the fact that they lost. If the Cowboys would have got blown out by the 49ers, that's different. How are you going to get up when it's 14 seconds left in the game and you don't have any timeouts to work with, and you're running a quarterback draw in the middle of the field? If you're going to run the ball, I get it. Like, run the ball to the boundaries, try to get out of bounds, get a couple yards, whatever you're going to do. But what the heck was what was that?
It wasn't even necessarily a terrible play call. It was just poorly executed.
Yes, it was. It was the worst play call they could have come up with. When you're in that situation where they were at the field with 14 seconds left, that's enough time for you to take 2 shots at the end zone. Even if you spiked it and had 1 second left.
True. But if that goes down when he should have,
at the end of the day, like, the Cowboys are the sports moron. Dak is a sports moron for being disrespectful to the refs and, condoning like that type of behavior by the fans. The whole organization is a clown show. So, this team is going to be doing the same thing every year. Jerry Jones isn't going anywhere. They're going to be in the same situation next season. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to find another way to lose. And the drought is going to continue for the NFC title game with Dallas.
Yeah, my sports moron, adding on to Jimmy here, is Mike McCarthy. He did say after the game that it was designed and it was planned that it was his call and everything. But my thing is this: even if you're gonna call a running play in that situation, the least you could do is like say a toss sweep or a reverse, something that generally goes toward the sidelines, so you can quickly get out of bounds, and then there you go, you got the clock stop. Like, why would you run it up the middle of the field with like 10 seconds left and no timeouts? That's not going to go good. Because Dak got a little further than he should have. Now the referee's having to run further than he should have. And instead of handing the ball to him, and the rules, it's like we mentioned earlier, instead of handing the ball to him, you hand it to your center to put down. No, it doesn't work that way, So, and even then, I still won't, necessarily 100% go to that play because, again, 14 penalties, that's going to lose you a lot of games. The Dallas Cowboys actually fell 1 yard short of being the most penalized team in the league. The most penalized team is the Raiders. But
I was going to say, it's always the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
It literally is.
It's literally always
the Saints
the Raiders.
or the Saints. The Saints are always a noticeable one, too.
But to close it out, Mike McCarthy was my sports moron. I was telling somebody just last week, I think it was John Shearer, shout out to him. It's calls like that land you in the unemployment line.
Hell yeah.
This is
And we
why
got Mike
Bill
Booth in the
Belichick.
building just real quick, joining the show.
Hey, there you go.
Just in time for Sports Morons,
What up,
bro.
boy?
So, Mike, we know that your team went up against Mike McCarthy for a long time when he was with the Green Bay Packers. So, honestly, did it really surprise you, like, the way that the Cowboys lost that game on Sunday? Sunday?
No, not really. I wasn't really surprised. I knew the 49ers could really just come in and punch him in the mouth, and kind of – he can't really think himself out of a situation,
Mm-hmm.
He got carried a lot by Rodgers, and I think Dak did, and Kellen Moore really kind of were the reason more for the success over there, honestly.
How did we not all put $1,000 each on the 49ers?
What we would have came out with it?
Definitely came out with a profit.
They would have. They were underdogs, so I don't know.
What was the payout for picking the Niners?
I don't know. But I got a sports moron. My sports moron of the week is going to be Grayson Allen. I don't know if you guys watched that game or at least watched the highlight. What happened in that game to Alex Caruso, and now he's getting surgery because his wrist is all jacked up. So he's getting surgery and he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. I mentioned Grayson Allen because this is a reputation that has followed him since college. He has been known as a dirty player. He's a dirty player. Yeah.
And not even a good defender.
No, just a dirty player.
But Bruce Bowen got away with being dirty because he was also an all-NBA defender. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Right. Yeah. Bruce Bowen is defensive player of the year. Grayson Allen has literally been known, has had suspensions for tripping people at Duke University. And today was terrible. I really wish that I don't know what's going to happen for him. A lot of people are saying it was just a hard play, and they're kind of defending Grayson Allen. But I think people really need to look that patterns repeat sometimes. And Grayson Allen is certainly a dirty player, and he is my sports moron of the week because I don't respect that. I don't think I don't respect his game at all.
Grayson Allen is to the NBA what Vontaze Burfict was to the NFL.
If you keep on letting him
back in, he's gonna keep doing what he's doing.
Say that.
Guys like this don't change.
He's like
even Vontaze Burfict was a better player. Like Vontaze Burfict's been on a couple Pro Bowl teams, has he not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a dirty player who could really hurt someone.
Just a D-bag. All right, who's next? Me?
Dirty player.
Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
James, you'll appreciate this. My sports moron is Daryl Morey.
Oh, no.
Okay.
For declining, no one knows if this is 100% true, but rumor has it that he declined a trade. Pistons offered
I saw
Jeremy Grant, Kelly Olynyk, and Sadiq Bey, and a first-round pick for Ben Simmons, and he declined it. That is far and away the best
there's
ever.
A lot of trades we probably should have taken for Ben Simmons, but
that was far and away the best offer that I've seen in a while. And y'all just got to get past the idea. You got to get past the idea that you're going to get an all-star for Ben Simmons, because you're not.
It might not, but we need something that's going to move the window for this team to actually be able to compete for a championship more than Jeremy Grant would. So that's the whole thing with Daryl is he's trying to get something that's going to move the needle, because the Sixers are in a window right now with Joel Embiid, because Joel Embiid is phenomenal. He is playing out of his mind.
This
guy is averaging more points than he is minutes played this season. So
how many games does he miss
right now? So when you have a player like this, you have to maximize on it while they're still in their prime. But us, we're kind of wasting Joel's prime right now, where we should be trying to get more pieces that's going to help this team win a championship.
Right now.
Do that for us.
Like Jeremy Grant could help you right now. Sadiq Bey and Kelly Olynyk could help you right now. What good is Ben Simmons doing?
Is it going to help us enough? Is it going to help us enough to beat the Bucs? Is it going to help us to beat the Nets? All the teams like that we have to go through to get to the finals? I don't know if that's the case.
Maybe, but when you're a contender, you got to take those home run swings. Anything or anyone or any trade would. No, not necessarily, but he's a good player. But you can't. Anything is better than Ben Simmons sitting on his butt.
Gone either way, but we're not really moving the needle by getting a player like that. If you know what I'm saying.
I just want to get rid of Jeremy Grant.
Honestly, the Sixers
I would take
just
Ben
need
Simmons.
to get what they can for Ben.
Tom's going off about this all because he wants to get rid of Jeremy
Grant. Because next summer, I almost said Jeremy Grant again, but James Harden and Bradley Beal are both going to be free agents. So if
you don't want James Harden
to play with Joel Embiid, we're having a different conversation.
You don't want James Harden.
Beal, can you imagine Bradley Beal with Joel Embiid? Oh my God!
Oh man!
Supposedly, Beal just came out and said that he's not going to re-sign with Washington.
I really like Bradley Beal's game.
Yeah, he's
nice.
He's one of my favorites. But yeah, we'll revisit this, James, when y'all finally trade Simmons, and I'll be like, would you have rather had Jeremy Grant and Kelly Olynyk and Sadiq Bey and a first-round pick?
I really don't care. I really don't care what we get for Ben Simmons. Like, I honestly don't. I'm just saying that what Daryl's trying to do is he's trying to get something that's going to move the needle more than, just some like random player. I really don't care what we get for him because I don't like him.
Yeah, James is speaking. James is speaking more in what is Daryl Morey like thinking.
You just want him gone.
Honestly, I don't care.
I would just have Bryce. I would just have Bryce Harper show up at his door with a baseball bat. To be honest,
this is the exact same way. This is the exact same way I felt about Carson Wentz. Like, I really don't care. Like, what we get for him. We ended up getting a first-round pick, which is insane.
And look what you got.
Look at back on it, the Eagles would not, or the Colts are. If they try to trade Carson Wentz, there's no way they're going to get a first-round pick. So it's kind of the same thing with Ben Simmons. We might be able to get something better than what anyone thinks we can.
I get that though. Like
Mike, do we have the same hat, kind of the same style?
You're fed up. You want to turn the page, and be done with the distraction.
I was noticing that.
Jordan or Mike, either of you guys got any sports morons?
I don't know the sports moron of the week unless you want to call it myself, because I'm extremely happy for the Cincinnati Bengals right now.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy for him too, bro. I didn't think they were going to go this far.
I mean, Burrow got sacked 9 times and still won that game.
That's what's crazy because
Tannehill for that.
Because what's going to happen again next week? How many? He only got sacked twice last week by the Raiders. Got sacked 9 times today. So, and this is a man who's been sacked 47 times this in the regular season. So this man's trending crazy right now.
He doesn't care. Like he's a different type of quarterback. Like you can keep hitting him. You can keep hitting him however much you want. He's not going to get rattled. He's
tough. He's tougher than people give him credit for.
Yeah. Joe Burrow is taking a separate flight home tomorrow morning because he's sitting in an ice bath for the next 12 to 16 hours.
They must get that man in line.
Well, I'm just being honest.
Shout out to you, Jordan, for not hating on a division rival.
Yeah. And
I mean, who
doesn't
love the Bengals story right now?
Yeah,
I'm a football fan first.
Mike won't even be happy for me, huh?
I will say this much, and that is the Bengals front office have got to get him an offensive line because I do not want to see Burrow go out the way Andrew Luck did.
Well, I'm saying is it was a great story for the Bengals, but it ends next week because the winner of that Chiefs and Bills game is running them over next week in the AFC Championship.
Don't be so sure. They just beat
running them over. They might lose, but they ain't getting run over, bro.
Like the Titans were supposed to run them over. We called the Bengals win. The Titans were supposed to run them over.
Hey man, and I'll be wrong if the Packers win by 2 touchdowns tonight. But if they don't and they only win by 5 or 6 points, then hey, I told you too.
John Shearer, if you're watching, is Tennessee still a good number 1 seed?
Nope, they never were.
Shots fired.
Bengals are better than people give them credit for, honestly.
Way
They're a
better.
good team. They're fun to watch, too. That's the best thing about it. I mean, Tannehill just kind of was the weak link tonight. And, he got some tip balls or whatever.
Tonight?
It's Tannehill doing Tannehill things. It's not going to win you a game.
You can't throw 3 interceptions against, you just can't do it.
Against anyone in the playoffs.
Ryan Tannehill is the type of quarterback that is only going to take you so far. Like, I feel like he's peaked with the Titans. So if the Titans really want to win a Super Bowl, they need to make a run at like somebody like Russell Wilson or someone like that. If you put Russell
that would be dirty.
They're definitely
going to
be
more competent. They can't do it with the game manager anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it just can't happen.
That's all Tannehill is.
Imagine Carr with the Titans.
Tannehill's usually better.
Yeah, I think
Tannehill is usually better with limiting his turnovers. But I mean, Henry had 20 carries for 62 yards.
Yeah,
Derek Carr would be an upgrade for a lot of teams. Like he's at the top of that second tier.
All right, guys. So
he's better than Dak.
What?
Yeah, since we actually have a little bit extra time, let's go our sports topic or / non-football topic of the show. So I was thinking about this earlier. So this is the scenario for you guys.
Can you bring the graphic up?
You have a chance to win a set of tickets to the Super Bowl. But you have to win a tournament with one of these 4 options. Okay, here we go. We got it pulled up here. I'm going to actually pull it up on screen for you guys as well. So we're going to start with the options are ping pong, cornhole,
here it comes,
horseshoes, or beer pong.
See me in cornhole.
Beer pong.
Cornhole?
Yeah, I'm going beer pong. I'm going beer pong.
Beer pong?
Well, that's the one I'm best at out of those options.
Yeah.
See me in cornhole.
I'm going with ping pong, bro. I'm a ping pong master. I'm a ping pong master.
You just
I am really torn because
true story about one time when I played beer pong. It was one of the worst experiences for me because I actually it was at one of my best friends when he first turned 21. I went to his house, played beer pong. I got my ass whooped. And I had to drink so much beer, bro. Like, I was hammered within, 5 minutes.
Woo!
Most of y'all are, maybe Mike, Jay for sure, but me and Jay are old enough to remember when there used to be beer in the actual cups.
Yeah,
I was.
With that dirty-ass ping pong ball that had touched the table, everyone's hands, the floor.
We switched to water as I got a little bit older.
Yeah, and then you start chugging the beer, right? You're doing after so long. But I agree. I remember drinking out of the dirty cups. I didn't care back then. I didn't care. Back then we weren't putting nice beer in those cups. We were putting cheap ass beer. Like me and my friends were cheap, bro. We were putting Milwaukee Best in that cups and shit, bro.
Bush beer in them cups, man.
What did you guys all pick?
I picked beer pong.
I picked beer pong too.
Cornhole.
I'm torn. I explained this to a couple of y'all earlier.
Don't pick horseshoes.
Well, here's the thing. Like ping pong, I have the most experience playing out of those 4, but the other 3 I'm unnaturally good at. Like there was a pretty serious horseshoe tournament. Listen,
bro.
I'm telling you. Listen, many years ago on Memorial Day, we had a pretty serious horseshoe tournament. And I'm a city kid playing with a bunch of my country ass friends. And we won the whole damn thing horseshoe tournament. I had maybe thrown a horseshoe 5 other times in my life. Cornhole, also unnaturally good at it. Beer pong, I'm so good. I used to play, typically, people aren't that serious about beer pong, right? Like, are you really mad if you lose?
I've seen to go to my buddy. Pretty emotional games.
Right. I used to
when it's down to one cup, man. I don't know about
right.
you.
I used to go to my buddy Brandon.
I would love to play beer.
Exactly. I used to go to my buddy Brandon's, and his roommate Ethan was like super serious about it, and he would like get mad and accuse me of cheating when I beat him, because it's like, I can throw a ping pong ball with either hand. I'd be messing around like shooting a jump shot. He's like, "Oh, you were over the line." I'm like, "Bro, there's no money on the line. Like, we're all hanging out, we're getting drunk. Like, relax."
Well, like at least we found that out. At least we found that out tonight. If the show taught us anything, it's that Don. I said Don. Dom is professional ping pong player, cornhole player, beer pong champion, and a horseshoe tournament champion. So what a jack of all trades here. Dom DeRubin, the faithful Detroit Lions fan.
He's overhyping himself.
I'm telling you.
Also there.
Give a round of applause for Dom
on the ping pong table. Like,
all right.
Yeah, I guess I would pick ping pong.
I think
ping pong's fun.
I'll whoop all y'all in cornhole. No cap.
You probably would.
Literally, the first time I played cornhole, like, I surprised myself at how good at it I
always
was.
try to like throw it and then like make it slide up into the hole, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Work.
If this was like when you first posted this, I was just thinking, oh man, my dad would totally choose horseshoes, even though I never played with them. Like, he loved horseshoes.
Hard, bro.
It is hard. It is really hard.
Think,
yeah, my dad loves it though.
It's harder than people think. They think it's
You guys ever heard of feather bowling?
What is
that?
No, that ain't no freaky shit, is it?
Feather bowling?
No,
that ain't no
feather bowling. Not to be confused with foaling. Foaling is bowling, but you throw a football at oversized pins.
What about bocce ball? We used to play bocce ball.
I don't know.
I've never played that. I've never played. No, it's Italian. Japanese. About 6,000 miles away, or however far Italy and Japan are from each other.
Bocce ball.
You got confused with like Chinese checkers. But since you brought it up, have you ever watched an Asian person play golf?
All right.
Yes.
Tiger Woods.
Duh.
He's Blasian. That doesn't count.
Where are we going with this?
No, we're gonna end the
time to hop off.
We're gonna end the show on this. So we're gonna do some shout outs and then we're gonna close it down. So
yes, of course, guys. I'll go first, of course, per usual. So,
he gonna say everybody ever say anyway.
Shout out JB. Shout out Sideline Sports fam. Eric Wilson. Everyone. Shout out Craig Davis, Marshall Hill, Unconventional Kings fam. Shout out Harlem Cowboy, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Shout out Thick Chick Season. If I keep the skinny girls away from me, at all times during BBW season. With that being said, bros, like, if anyone else has some shout outs, feel free to let me know.
Yeah. Shout out Megan Price, Anthony Brown, Jahan Phillips on the sip off. Shout out the Green Bay Packers, and I hope you guys win tonight. Otherwise, I'll be crying. So shout out.
NBA carousel Monday nights, sip off Thursday nights. Shout out to Megan Price, Jahan Phillips, and Anthony Lawrence Mason Brown. Also, Saturday nights right here. Y'all know what it is. Four Horsemen, Craig Davis, Marshall Hill. I see y'all. And I agree with Jimmy here. It's thick chick season. She got to be at least two something to do something.
Hey, bro, I don't want it like I don't want these girls over here. So
any shout outs from you guys in the bottom?
No, I'm good.
Shout out my man. I've only lost 5 games all year.
Ooh,
I can't even follow that up with anything.
All right.
I had no thunder, but if I did, Jay stole it.
No, I didn't.
He's the Thunder Stealer.
He's a Thunder buddy.
Devontae Adams, baby. Let's go.
Hey, I got him as team captain on my draft.
49ers.
Baby, let's go.
Let me see Devontae Adams with someone other than Aaron
I put
Rodgers.
on my Steelers gear in the closet. It's done.
Peace, y'all.
All right, see you guys.
All right,
Do, 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 do.